A poor man stole an old lady's purse, but he almost screamed when he saw his photo in her wallet. Hello everyone. Today I bring you an emotional story that makes us reflect on our actions and their consequences. Imagine the situation of a poor man who decides to steal a purse from an old lady but is surprised to find something unexpected inside. The poor man, dressed in tattered clothes and wearing worn-out shoes, walked slowly through the desolate streets of the city. His stomach growled with hunger, and his tired eyes revealed the harsh routine he faced daily. People rushed by without even noticing his presence. He felt the weight of social invisibility on his shoulders and loneliness as a constant companion. Amidst the tall buildings and closed windows, he searched for a way to survive another day in the harsh reality of life on the streets. Upon spotting the distracted old lady, the poor man felt a mix of emotions invade his chest. His tired eyes fixed on the purse she was carrying, imagining what might be inside. The decision to approach and act, driven by hunger and despair, echoed in his mind as he wondered if this was indeed the only way to survive that dark night. He calculated the risks, weighed the consequences, and in a selfish and desperate impulse, decided to move forward and attempt to steal the purse from the defenseless lady. His heart raced as he stealthily approached, trying not to make a sound, with a restless mind and anxious eyes. As he extended his trembling hand towards the purse, he could barely contain his agitated breathing, feeling all his senses heightened in maximum alert. The poor man, with trembling and sweaty hands, felt his heart race as he grabbed the old lady's purse strap. A mix of fear, guilt, and adrenaline flooded his thoughts as he looked around for any reaction from the old lady. Every second felt like an eternity for him, barely able to control his heavy breathing. With agile fingers, he quickly opened the purse and felt the weight of the objects inside. Cold sweat trickled down his forehead as his eyes found the carefully folded money, the neatly organized documents, and a box of medicine with a familiar name. The sensation of being on the edge of an abyss overwhelmed him, making him question every choice that had led him to this crucial moment. The man knew he couldn't hesitate, for his immediate survival, moral integrity, and conscience were at stake. With one last deep breath, he turned and ran into the unknown, carrying the guilt of the impulsive act he had just committed. The poor man, hiding in the dark alley, finally found the courage to open the purse he had just stolen from the old lady. With trembling hands and a pounding heart, he searched through each compartment, hoping to find something that could ease his heavy conscience. Among the old lady's personal belongings, he found an old notebook with detailed notes about the old lady's routine and worries. The worn pages revealed intimate thoughts and memories of a life lived with simplicity and gratitude. The sight of the careful handwriting and words filled with feelings sparked a mix of curiosity and empathy in the poor man, making him question his own choices and ignorance. Each turned page was like entering an unknown and simultaneously familiar world, filled with postponed dreams and untold stories. The poor man saw himself reflected in those simple words and the fragile handwriting of the old lady, realizing that the thoughtless act of theft did not only mean taking material possessions, but also invading the privacy and history of someone who might have much to teach him about essential life values. Inside the old lady's wallet, the poor man found not only money and documents, but also a faded photo of a young, smiling woman. The image revealed the joy and hope in the eyes of someone who was once captured by the click of a camera. He couldn't help but notice the surprising resemblance between the woman in the photo and the very old lady he had tried to rob minutes earlier. The feeling of an inexplicable connection enveloped him, creating a mystery he knew he needed to unravel. Who was that woman in the photo? What was the relationship between her and the old lady? The poor man felt a shiver run down his spine as he realized that the simple portrait might hide deep secrets capable of forever changing the course of his life. The poor man, unaware of the twist to come, fixed his eyes on the faded photo in the old lady's wallet. The image seemed familiar but distant, as if it belonged to an old dream. As he observed more closely, the lines of the face in the photograph became clearer, revealing familiar features and long-hidden feelings. It was then that he noticed something shocking and at the same time touching. It was his own mother portrayed in that photo. The impact of the discovery made his heart race, and a wave of conflicting emotions engulfed him. The improbable coincidence caused his thoughts to race uncontrollably, connecting past and present in a fleeting moment. Faced with a surprising revelation, the poor man felt a mixture of shock and gratitude for allowing himself to see beyond appearances and recognize the invisible bond that unexpectedly united him to the old lady. The poor man, still under the impact of the discovery, felt an overwhelming mix of emotions as he realized the reality before his astonished eyes. The realization that he had tried to rob his own mother, without realizing the connection between the old lady and his personal history, made him falter and almost fall to his knees on the barren ground. Every thought seemed like a stumble in his confused mind. Every uneven heartbeat made him question his entire existence up to that moment. The feeling of betraying himself for the thoughtless act was like a dagger lodged in his chest, already scarred by the hardships of life on the streets. The choked tears and the lump in his throat made the weight of guilt unbearable, while the image of the old lady intertwined with a distant memory of maternal affection that seemed long lost amid the urban chaos. The heavy conscience overwhelmed him, mixed with regret and sadness. Sitting on the hard ground of the alley, surrounded by darkness that seemed to echo his somber thoughts, the poor man relived every second of the impulsive act he had committed. His eyes, once eager for survival, now reflected the silent pain of one who realizes too late the weight of his choices. The trembling hands rested on the purse that just minutes earlier represented a fleeting possibility of relief for his woes, but now turned into an unbearable burden of guilt and remorse. The distant sound of hurried footsteps on the street contrasted with the deafening silence that filled the emptiness around him, amplifying the sense of loneliness and helplessness that consumed him. Every painful heartbeat seemed to echo the flapping wings of the butterfly of conscience, agitating in search of redemption amid the darkness of the repentant soul. The poor man felt the weight of guilt oppressing his chest and the anguish of the impulsive decision hammering in his exhausted mind. With trembling steps, he headed in the direction where the old lady had disappeared, determined to undo the mistake he had made. Every second felt like an eternity of regret and humility as his thoughts oscillated between the fear of judgment and the hope of forgiveness. Upon seeing the old lady from afar, he felt a lump form in his throat, and the words of apology got lost in the awkward silence that separated them. With a choked voice and eyes filled with restrained tears, the poor man slowly approached the old woman, extending the purse to her with a gesture of sincere contrition. A mix of relief and fear washed over him as he looked into the old lady's tired eyes, waiting for a reaction that could define the course of their lives forever. When returning the purse to the old lady, the poor man saw in her eyes a mix of surprise and compassion. In an act of courage, he decided to open up about his own story, sharing the difficulties and challenges he faced daily on the streets of the city. The lady listened attentively to every word, showing empathy and wisdom in response to the man's revelations. Amidst tears and restrained smiles, they found an unexpected bond that transcended age and social class differences. They shared memories, dreams, and fears, connecting in a genuine bond based on the common humanity that inhabited their hearts. Forgiveness became the link that united them, showing that even in the most unlikely situations, it is possible to find redemption and transformation. The encounter between the poor man and the old lady was marked by an exchange of lessons and feelings that would echo in their lives forever, highlighting the power of love and compassion to break invisible barriers and unite souls in search of peace and mutual understanding. And you, what would you do if you were in this man's place? Share your opinion in the comments and don't forget to leave your like. I hope you enjoyed this inspiring story. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. A hug and see you in the next video.